All right, so first part of the review to get us ready for the test, linear equation graphs. This actually should say review basics. So these don't have any of the actual SAT problems, but those will be coming up tomorrow. But these are just kind of all the skills you need behind the scenes. So let's get started. All right, number 1 and 2, find the slope of the line. First thing you need to understand is that whether it's going up or down, from left to right. So down is negative, up is positive. And remember, it's the change in y over the change in x. Or we're talking vertical over horizontal. So looking at this first one, I want to find a good crossing point. There's several of them here, aka lattice points. Looks like we're dropping one and running over one. So, and it's coming down. So this has a slope of -1. Number 2 says find the slope of this line. So first thing I need to do is find a good lattice point. So that looks like a good crossing point. And then going up, going up, going up, looks like there's a good one. And this is a pretty steep line, so it's going to be quite a bit bigger number. And it looks like we are rising about 5 blocks of change in y, 1 block of change in x. So this line has a slope of 5. Number 3, any line that's flat, horizontal like this, has a slope of 0. So the correct answer is C. Basically, there's no vertical change, and then whatever you want to have down here, it's always going to come out to be 0. On this next one, you have who knows what the vertical change is, depending on what point you pick. You know, in this case, maybe 2. But there is no horizontal change. And your calculator can't do that. That is an error. So we say that the slope is undefined. All right, 5 and 6. Find the slope through a pair of points. So you got a few options. You could graph this, which I wouldn't really recommend. Probably easiest to just use the slope formula. So finding slope when given the points, sometimes the formula is pretty good. So you could go 12 subtract 4. Be sure to put change in y's on top and the x's on bottom. You get -1 minus a -14, which ends up being 8 over 13. So the correct answer is D. I've seen some kids stack it like this. They call it a slope slide. So I'll show you that way. It's basically the same thing. It just organizes it a little bit for you. But you almost put it like a table format. And you come down with your table and then you hook to the right. And what that does is it forces the y's to be on top. So you do -1 subtract 2. And then you do -9 subtract -18. And when you work this one out, you get, let me see, that'd be -3 on top. And you get a +9 on the bottom. So reducing that down, 3 goes into both those numbers. You get a -1/3. Correct answer is D. Again, you could graph these, but it would just take a lot longer. You could also do the little XY table like that. And then you could do the slope, the change in y over change in x from there as well. So for instance, if I did the first one and then I do the second one, you know, you could say, well, y, the change in y is 8, and the change in x increased by 13, so change in y over change in x, and you'll get the same answer. They're all kind of doing the same thing, just formatted a little bit differently. All right, number 7 and number 8, find the slope of the line. Well, now we're given an equation. So first we were given a graph, then we were given points. Now we're given an equation, and it's important to know the format. So this one is in slope-intercept form, which you know right away because it's in y equals format. And whenever that's the case, the m, y equals mx plus b, is your slope. So that one's really fast. This one over here is in standard form. And standard form is messier because none of those numbers are the slope. None of these 3 numbers are the slope. So one method is to solve it for y. So pretty straightforward. I'm just going to move the x term to the other side. And I get negative 5 equals, I like to put my x term in front and my constant in the back. And then you divide everybody by negative 5. And now you have it in slope-intercept form. Two negatives turn into a positive. That comes out to be negative 1. And now I can see, oh man, slope is 2/5. So the correct answer is C. Now there is a faster way. I've showed this a few times, so I'll show it again here. And that is the shortcut is the A number is the one in front of X, and the B is what's in front of Y, all that. And this is C. And there is a shortcut that the slope is always just the opposite sign of whatever A is over the B. So in this problem, since A is 2, the opposite of A over B, and then you got to get rid of the negatives. It's a little bit faster, so something you could use on an SAT. All right, 9 and 10. Now we're in kind of who knows what form it is. This has X, this has Y as a constant. So I need to get it in one of the forms. I think the easiest way would be put it in standard form. So let's just go 4x minus 10y. And I'm going to throw this 40 to the other side and make it negative. And I'm going to use the shortcut on this one. I'm going to go opposite of A over B, which is 4 over 10 positive, and then it reduces to 2/5. I had two in a row that were 2/5. Find the slope of a line parallel. If I want to be parallel, I need to be the same slope. Well, this line right here, that's a negative 1. So I need to keep it the same. Correct answer is going to be D. 11 and 12. 11 says find the slope of a line perpendicular. So the big thing about when you want to be perpendicular, you need to be opposite sign, meaning one's got to be positive, one's got to be negative. And then I want to be a reciprocal, aka a flip. So let's use the shortcut. Opposite of A over B. So my slope of this line right here is 7/3. So if I want to be perpendicular, I need to flip that, and I need to change its sign. So the correct answer there is B. Number 12, find the value of x or y, depending on what they give you, so that you have a given slope. So one way to do this may be to graph it. So we have something 3, 6, 9, and we're looking for 2/3. So something 3, 6, 9, we're looking for 2/3. So let's kind of put this on a graph. And what we had was we had something 3, 6, 9, and we need to have a slope of 2/3. So remember, positive 2/3 means we need to go up 2 over 3. We're heading in that type of direction. Well, they do give me 1 point, so why don't we start there? They give me 6, 9. So over 6, up 9, 3, 6, 9. So here's my point 6, 9. And from that point, I need to go 3 over and 2 down to kind of keep the stairs rolling. So 3 over 2 down. So 3 over 2 down, 3 over 2 down, 3 over 2 down, 3 over 2 down. And there's my line. And what were we trying to find? We were trying to find something comma 3. Well, a y value of 3 is right here. So right there's the point we were trying to find. And the x value there is negative 3. So the correct answer for this one is negative 3, which is D. There is a way you could do it with algebra, but I don't know. I think it might be easier to graph it if you have the time. So moving forward, 13 and 14. Looks like I'm going to have to shrink these down a little bit because they are they're a little bit too big. Come over here and kind of see if I can shrink this. I may have to move my screen down a little bit. There we go. And so an x-intercept of -5. So remember, this is where I cross the x-axis. So this one doesn't even cross at -5, so it can't be you. This one doesn't cross at -5. This one doesn't cross at -5. Hey, this one does. And then the y-intercept crosses at +2. Correct answer is D. Number 14, sketch a graph of this line. Well, again, it's important to recognize the form. And this is standard form. So, you know, none of those numbers are the slope, and none of them are the y-intercept. So I'm going to first use my little shortcut. I've been liking it. So slope is opposite of A over B. So my slope is 3/2. So this is my slope. And I'll just tell you a little shortcut for the y-intercept. The y-intercept shortcut is C over B. So you don't have to change anything. So if you're looking for the y-intercept, it's always C over B, or -8 over -2, which is 4. So I have a y-intercept of 4. So y-intercept of 4, slope of 3/2, let's do it. Well, you don't have a y-intercept of 4. You don't have a y-intercept of 4. You do, and so do you. So I now need to look at the slope. Well, the slope is positive up 3, right 2. And so that must be this line, up 3, right 2. This line's negative. So the correct answer is C. Moving on through. Well, the graph of this line, this one, luckily for us, is in slope-intercept form. So it's y equals mx plus b. So let's start with the y-intercept. We're looking for someone that crosses at -5. No, yes, no, and no. That was an easy problem. Correct answer is B. Number 16 is right. So now we're going backwards. Now we're, instead of them giving us the equation, they're giving us a graph, and we got to come up with the equation. Well, I cross at -2. So that wipes this out. Now, since they all finish at -2, now I got to see, is the slope -2, +2, or -1/2? Well, this line is going down from left to right. So I know it can't be the positive slope. And this one, when I look at it, it looks like we have a change of 1 and a run of 2. So it's a 1/2 negative. Correct answer there is D. 17 and 18. Let me see if I can maybe make this a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, write the standard form. So remember, standard form, we need x and y on the same side, and then we need the constant on the other. And you're not supposed to have any fractions or anything. So sometimes these require a little bit of work. So there's kind of two ways you can do it. Well, there's a lot of ways you can do it. You could rewrite all of these in slope-intercept form, like rewrite every single one. We could, I'm going to use a shortcut just because I've shown the other way so many times. I kind of want to look at the shortcut. So this line has a slope. It's positive. It crosses here, and it crosses there. So this line right here has a slope of 3/2. So I'm looking for a line that has a slope of 3/2. And looking through here, opposite of A over B, well, there's a slope of 3/2. Let's just check the intercept. C over B. hey, that one looks good. That's got the right slope and the right intercept. All of these other ones, you know, this would be opposite of A over B, so that'd be a -3 slope. These guys they're like 1/2 and -1/2, so they're done. So I like using the shortcut when possible. It makes things faster. Number 18, write the standard form. Well, they give it to me in slope-intercept form. First thing I would do is I would clear the fractions, okay, which in general you want to multiply by the least common denominator. Well, luckily for us, there's only one denominator, and it's 3. So I'm going to multiply everybody by 3. So I'm going to times the y by 3, times this term by 3, times that term by 3. And divide by 3 times by 3 cancels. So I'm left with 3y equals 2x subtract 3. And now I got to get x and y on the same side. So I'm going to subtract this 2x from both sides. And I'm going to get -2x plus 3y equals -3. And that doesn't match any of these because they don't like the number in front of x to be negative. So let's distribute a -1 through there. And looks like we got ourselves a winner, which is going to be D. 19 and 20. Write the slope-intercept form. Thank you. So I know I can write it in y equals mx plus b. They give us a point and they give us a slope. So the slope is a freebie. You know, they give me that. I can just slap that right in there. So I have a starter equation. I have y equals a -1x plus b. They don't give me the y-intercept. So I'm going to do what's called solve for b. So I'm going to solve for the y-intercept because they do give me an x and a y that live on the line. So I know it makes the equation true. So let's substitute the y value in. And let's substitute the x value in. And let's see what b makes that work. So I get -3 equals 2 plus b. And to find out what b is, subtract 2 from both sides, and you'll get b equals -5. So now I can go back and adjust my starter equation. I now know what b is. It is -5, and that looks like it's right here. Correct answer is C. This one, same problem. They give me a point, they give me a slope, but this time they want standard form, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of rearranging. No big deal. I got a slope, so here's the start. I don't have b. You know, I need to figure out what b is. So I'm going to plug in the y. I'm going to plug in the x. And we're going to solve for it. So we get -1 equals -4 plus b. Add 4 to both sides. And we're like, oh, b equals 3. Cool. So now I can come back to my starter equation. And I can put a 3 in there. Now, this is slope-intercept form. So unfortunately, I got to repackage it. So I need to get this x over on the other side. So I need to minus that. So I'm going to have a -4x, positive y. It's 3. Now I'm going to distribute -1 through there to clean it up, finalize it. And we're looking like correct answer is A. Getting down here towards the end. Right slope-intercept form given 2 points. Well, you know, this one I'm kind of lucky. They actually, this point right here, I just noticed that is a y-intercept. So I don't have to solve for b. Because 0, -4, if I thought about a graph, you know, what that looks like, 0, -4 is chilling right here. And then if I wanted to, if I didn't want to do any algebra, I could just kind of graph the other dot. The other dot's at 2, -3. Right there. here's the line we're trying to figure out. So just the fact that I know the y-intercept eliminates this one and eliminates this one. So now I have it down to one of these two. And one has a negative slope, one has a positive slope. This line definitely has a positive slope. So correct answer is going to be D. You also could use these 2 points to find the slope. You know, I could do y minus y, and then x minus x. And that would have given me the 1/2, even without the picture. Standard form. So same thing here, man. They give me the y-intercept. They're taking care of me. So, but I don't have the slope. So let's get the slope. I'm going to do y minus y. And then x minus x. And that comes out to be a -9 over a -3, which is +3. So there's my slope. So we get our equation going, and this time it's not a starter equation because I just figured the slope out. You told me the y-intercept. So boom, slope-intercept form, we got it. But they want standard. So I got to throw this x to the other side. I need to multiply through by a -1, which basically just changes all the signs. And it looks like the correct answer here is B. All right, how many more we got here? So 23, 24. So we need to go through a point, and we need to be parallel to y equals 2x. So I have, so what do I need? To write an equation, I need a slope and a y-intercept. So right now I got nothing. I'm right here. That's my start. But if you're going to be parallel to somebody, you got to keep the same slope. So I do have a little bit of a start, but we don't have the b. So to get the b, we need to substitute points in. We plug that in here. And we're going to plug that in here. And to get b, I add 10 to both sides. And I'm like, sweet, b is 10. So now my starter equation is turned into a real equation, and I have plus 10. Okay? And now this is slope-intercept. Again, to make it standard, I need to move the x to the other side. It's kind of seeming like old hat by now. And multiply by a -1. And we're looking at something like that, which is going to be A. 24, same exact concept, except for now I need to be perpendicular to this line. And perpendicular, you remember your slope can't be the same. It's got to be the opposite reciprocal. This is probably the hardest question on the whole basic page here. So if his slope is 4, I need to be a reciprocal, and I need to change its sign. So I need a line with a slope of -1/4. So here's my start. Don't have b. Seems like we never have b, unless we get lucky and they give it to us. So I pop these jokers in. So that's a -2 equals, I got a -1/4 times x is 4 plus b. So that's a -2. Well, of -1/4 times a +4, well, that's a -1. Add 1 to both sides. So I have a b now. My b is -1. So let's go back and adjust that. And now we got to turn him into standard form. So check this out. I got -1/4 x minus 1. Well, to get standard form, you can't have any fractions. So the least common denominator is 4. So times every piece by 4. And I get 4y equals negative 1x minus 4. And finally, we have to throw the x to the other side, and it's positive, so that's kind of nice. 1x, 4y, negative 4. We should be in business. Where are you at? Looks like correct answer there is B. Hey now, we're all set. So I know this video is a little bit long. Hopefully you didn't have to watch all of it, and you just watched the problems that you missed. Tomorrow's review, we're going to focus on a small handful of SAT worded questions that build on these basics that we looked at today. See you.